Welcome to CantSpeakEnglishGaming channel. This is the one shift with San Francisco PD. So after a few minutes of patrolling, I was just waiting for a green light and suddenly taxi recklessly ran the red light. So I was ready to perform a traffic stop. But the taxi driver was even more reckless than I thought. He almost ran over pedestrian. Luckily he just slightly hit him. But it was enough for pedestrian to start a fight with him. So fight was on. I got out of my cruiser. But suspect didn't look like they wanna stop punching each other, so I had to use my taser. As I did, one crazy motherfucker started shooting at me, so I had to take cover behind my vehicle, but I got shot once. But I wasn't wounded at all, so I fired back and fatally wounded the suspect. I called paramedics, but there was nothing they could do for him.
Dispatching to Firefly Project.
Few moments later, I heard a siren, and then I saw a police cruiser heading eastbound, so I decided to follow him. We have been responding to criminal resisting arrest. When I got on the scene, other officers were in full chase with the suspect, but I decided to chase suspect in my car. After few meters of driving through the alley, I finally saw a suspect. But my fellow officers were already able to stop him, so I just hopped out of my car and aimed my gun at the suspect until the fatty officer handcuffed him. I continued to patrol the area and saw another reckless driver. So I was ready for another traffic stop. So I turned my lights on and pulled him over.
Police, please pull over now!
But when I left my patrol car, the suspect decided to take off. So the chase was on. He was so damn reckless that he hit two pedestrians and continued to flee. But few seconds later he hit a taxi and one police car. That was clear attack by deadly weapon. I had to stop him whatever it cost. I hit the side of his car. Unfortunately my lad bar shattered to thousands of pieces. But suspect was still on the move. I hopped out of my car and aimed the gun at him, but that didn't make him to stop, so I opened fire killing suspect. But I got struck between his and my car. I was heavily injured. I had to call paramedics. They fixed me up so I could get a brand new cruiser and continue my shift. Few minutes later, a similar situation. Another reckless driver and another traffic stop. I turned my lights on and ordered him to stop.
LCPD, please put your vehicle to the side of the road.
Excuse?
I walked up to the passenger side window just for my safety, and I asked for his ID.
Could you please show me your ID?
He was cooperating, so I went to check his ID to my cruiser. As you can see, he's been already citated 3 times, so this is gonna be his 4th citation. That means he's a reckless driver, and that's the reason I gave him the highest possible citation, $100.
Have a nice day.
Later on, I saw a suspicious person, male, just standing and doing nothing. So I didn't hesitate, hopped out of my car to check what's going on.
Hey, you! Hold it right there!
I frisked the suspect.
I'm gonna need to frisk you. Please put your hands on top of your head.
And guess what? I found a weapon.
I knew you had a weapon.
I
on
could
you.
have gotten hurt. Thankfully, he wasn't that stupid and realized that killing officer wouldn't be a good idea. So, I cuffed him and took him to jail. I continued my patrol and again I saw a reckless driver in front of me. So, I performed another traffic stop.
Pull over! Pull over now!
I walked up to the driver and asked him for ID.
National my name, please.
But supposedly, he forgot it at home. So I asked him to step out of the vehicle. He cooperated.
Hey, stay right there!
And I checked him if he's occasionally not carrying some illegal stuff.
Put your hands on top of your head.
And I was lucky. I found few crystals of crack cocaine in his left pocket.
Stay down, punk.
So I cuffed him, took him to my patrol car, called a tow truck, and that was it. And when I was on my way to the station, some biker drove past me. He was definitely speeding. It took me few seconds to catch him up and perform another traffic stop. This was definitely the day of reckless driving.
Police, please pull over now!
I stepped out of my car and asked for drivers and passengers' ID.
Could you please show me your ID?
Yeah?
Thanks.
Then I went to my car to check it out. The driver was okay, but passenger was wanted. So I hopped out of my car, pulled my gun, and asked the driver to get off the bike.
Slowly get out of the car.
As he did, the bike with the wanted passenger fell down. That worked for me. I aimed my gun at the suspect and frisked him.
I'm gonna need to frisk you. Please put your hands on top of your head.
Then I cuffed him and took him to my car. Then I just wanted to citate the driver, but
Hold it!
he decided to run away. so I had to tase him.
Put your hands on top of your head, please.
I frisked him
You're clean. You may go. Stay on the ground and don't
and
move a muscle.
because he was running away from me, I cuffed him and called for the prisoner transport. Both of these guys ended up in the jail. Then I continued my patrol, and suddenly when that red SUV drove past me, ALPR showed that the owner of the vehicle has warrant for arrest. I performed a traffic stop.
Pull over! Police!
I didn't want to take any risks, so I pulled my weapon and ordered the driver to get out of the car.
Okay, get out and put your hands on the roof.
I didn't even check his ID. I immediately checked him if he's occasionally not carrying some
Put your
weapons.
hands on your head and don't move them.
While I was checking him, his car shockingly disappeared. So let's say it got towed.
Concealed.
But anyway, he had a gun, so he went straight up to the jail.
Hands behind your back.
When my shift was getting close to its end, I saw a damaged pickup. And I've got a feeling that the other pickup hit the damaged one, so I've decided to check it. And I was right. So I ended my shift with traffic stop. But as I walked up to the driver's side window, not just today's shift,
Okay, don't move.
Attention all units. We have a
but
report
my
of
whole
a
life was
reckless
over.
driver